This is Jarrod Horak for the RunawayHorse.com, and I'm back to look at another look at more things for the Kentucky Derby, the 2020 Kentucky Derby. And in this report, again, we're going to go over the field really quick. I've done that in my other videos. 21 horses are still possible for the Kentucky Derby up to this point. We got a little more than a week to go before the Kentucky Derby, so there's still some time for some horses to change their mind, and we'll see which direction they end up going in. So we're going to look at 3 horses to bet against in the Derby, but before we do that, let's just pop up the horses really quick that are pointing to the race, and I'll just go through and name them and say something about some of them. Money Moves for trainer Todd Pletcher. He's one that doesn't have any Derby points. Very lightly raced. It would be a tough spot if they went here, but Todd Pletcher could end up going if 20 or less end up running in the Derby. Now Rushie for trainer Mike McCarthy. He's got some Derby points, and he's one that they may not go here though. The Pat Day Mile is a possibility for him. They haven't completely decided if they're going to go in the Derby yet. Now Winning Impression for trainer Dallas Stewart. He definitely does want to go in the Derby, along with your 2-year-old champion Storm the Court. Shirl Speight from Canada. Max Player now in the Steve Asmussen barn. Attachment Rate for trainer Dale Romans, Necker Island, and Caracaro. All of those horses want to go in the Derby, along with Finnick the Fierce. 1,000 Words for trainer Bob Baffert. Sol Volante for trainer Pat Biancone, a late runner, along with Major Fed, likes to run late as well. Now Dr. Post, they may or may not go in the Kentucky Derby for trainer Todd Pletcher. He was probable before, and now they're saying he's possible, and they may lean in another direction. Like the Jim Dandy Stakes at Saratoga, they could end up going there. They could end up skipping the Derby and the Jim Dandy Stakes and just waiting for the Preakness Stakes. So they have some options for Dr. Post, and right now they've downgraded his chances to run in the Derby, and they're thinking about other spots. So they're still making their decision. So New York Traffic for trainer Safi Joseph Jr., very consistent, likes to hit the board in a lot of stakes races. Authentic for trainer Bob Baffert, could be the pace setter in the Kentucky Derby. King Guillermo hasn't started in more than 4 months. Honor AP, he won the Grade 1 Santa Anita Derby. He shouldn't have any problem with the 1 1/4 distance based on the way he finished that race. Art Collector on a good winning streak. He's won twice in the stakes ranks at 1 1/8. Tis the Law, your heavy favorite. He hasn't lost this year. He looked very good in the Travers Stakes, and he's going to be very low odds in the Kentucky Derby. Finally, Enforceable for trainer Mark Casse, a late runner, and that's a horse I think you can use underneath in exotics in the 2020 Kentucky Derby. Now I'm going to list 3 horses to bet against, and it's mostly due to the distance. I'm just not sure that these 3 horses are prepared to run 1 1/4 on the first Saturday in September. Now Authentic is the first one, and obviously he has a lot of talent. I've always liked Authentic. He's been talented on the West Coast. I cover West Coast racing, and I've always been a fan of Authentic, but I just don't think the 1 1/4 distance is what he really wants to do. When he stretched out to 1 1/8 in the Santa Anita Derby, he was undefeated up to that point, and he was facing Honor AP, and he defeated Honor AP easily at 1 1/16 in the San Felipe. But when they got to 1 1/8 in the Santa Anita Derby, Honor AP just had a lot more stamina than Authentic. He went right past him. He won easily. So then Authentic tried 1 1/8 again in the Haskell Stakes at Monmouth. In that 1 1/8 race, Bob Baffert does so well in the Haskell Stakes every year. He knows which horses are going to fit that track profile, which typically favors horses that are close to the pace. And you can get away with not having a lot of stamina and winning a race like the Haskell at 1 1/8 over that speed favoring track. And that's what Authentic did. The thing that didn't look good was that he was able to get out there and control the pace, but he just did hold on. New York Traffic, it looked like he had that one put away, but New York Traffic came again in the stretch. I think it was more of Authentic getting tired at the end of the 1 1/8 distance than it was New York Traffic finishing fast. So now Authentic has to go 1 1/4, and he's going to be facing some very good horses, and horses that have speed, at least some tactical speed, and at some point they're going to put pressure on him. Horses like Art Collector, I mentioned, a 2-time winner at 1 1/8. He has a lot of class. Tis the Law. He can be up on the pace. He can track, and you just can't imagine that Authentic is going to be able to get the lead, swat away horses like Art Collector and Tis the Law, and then hold off horses coming in the stretch like Honor AP. If he could do all that, I would be very surprised. The next one that I'm going to talk about to bet against, I know some horses, some people in the videos, they've made some comments and they like King Guillermo, but I think at the 1 1/4 distance, I think that's his undoing, especially off the layoff. Now the Kentucky Derby is going to be his first start in more than 4 months. He's only started twice in 2020. He won the Grade 2 Tampa Bay Derby at a mile and a 16th. And then he was second to Nadal in one of the divisions of the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby in May. And that was early May, the first Saturday in May. Now, coming out of that race, we've had no horses win graded races since that race. So he exits a race that hasn't been that productive. He hasn't run in 4 months. His longest victory was at a mile and a 16th. He's one that has some tactical speed, but then, like I said, you're going to have horses like Authentic, probably right up on the pace. Art Collector, very sharp, already proven at a mile and an eighth, and even Authentic's won at a mile and an eighth. Tis the Law, right up on the pace, and he's already won at a mile and a quarter. He's a Grade 1 winner at a mile and a quarter. So can you see King Guillermo coming off that layoff at a mile and a quarter, tracking the pace, somehow putting all those horses away, taking the lead, and then holding off all the late runners off of that kind of layoff in his longest and toughest race to date? I think it's going to be a tough challenge. I think he's talented, and as in all these horses, like don't take it personally and think I don't like your horse or anything. I just don't like them at this distance. I said I've been a fan of Authentic. I just think shorter distances are better. King Guillermo's a likable horse, good tactical speed. He's been performing well this year. I just don't think the Kentucky Derby is a race that he can win. And then finally, the third one is Storm the Court, your 2019 Breeders' Cup Juvenile winner. And he was your champion 2-year-old male as well. Now, he's run 5 times this year, and he's 0 for 5. He has 1 second place finish and 2 third place finishes. Now, his longest victory was at a mile and a 16th in that Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And then it's usually not a good sign when you see horses that they were good as a 2-year-old, and then during their 3-year-old season, they don't really progress. And I think that's been the case with Storm the Court, and I don't see how he's going to, again, he's another one with some tactical speed. How is he going to be able to sit that tactical trip and outfinish all those other horses that have had more success, even at the Grade 1 ranks, than he has recently, and somehow hold off all the late runners in his longest and toughest test to date? I think it's going to be tough. And he's moving back to the main track. Last time they put him on the turf in the Grade 3 La Jolla at Del Mar, and he finished an okay second, but he would have to run the race of his life to be competitive in this Kentucky Derby, which seems to have a pretty good amount of depth and a solid favorite in Tis the Law. Now, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and make some comments in the comment section. Who do you like in the Kentucky Derby? If you like some of the horses that I mentioned that I didn't like, that's fine. You can make some comments there. I'm not going to trash you or anything like that, and I wouldn't expect that you would do the same either. So go over to the runawayhorse.com. You can find my Kentucky Derby 2020 full card analysis there, Kentucky Derby week. I also post free picks. You can go over to my Kentucky Derby page if you want to read my Kentucky Derby 2020 blogs and see my videos, my free picks from Saratoga on my New York page, and then also the free picks on the Del Mar page from Stakes Picks. And those are Stakes Picks. And for the New York page, my handicapping partner, Dr. Atlas, posts his free picks from Saratoga. He's been giving out a lot of winners. And then on the stakes page, on the Del Mar page, I put out stakes picks from Del Mar sometimes. So go over there if you're interested in any of that stuff. And next week, we're going to have our Kentucky Derby preview video where I'm going to go through the entire field and give out my top selection. Until then, good luck at the races.